Well, it is no secret cattle are often blamed when it comes to greenhouse gas emissions and the impact on the environment. But what would the world actually be like without cows? That is exactly what the team at Alltech traveled the world to find out. Mark Lyons, CEO of Alltech, hired 2 journalists to put together a documentary. And after traveling to 22 countries across 5 continents, visiting more than 40 locations around the globe, they put together a compelling piece that's meant to spark meaningful conversation and leave an impact. And this weekend, the team at Alltech agreed to allow us to show you a preview of that film. Here's A World Without Cows.
We share this planet with 1.5 billion cows, and that breaks down to 1 cow for every 5 of us.
Agriculture, forestry, and other land uses produce nearly half of the world's methane emissions.
Governor Jerry Brown today signed a bill regulating emissions from dairy cows. Law requires a 40% reduction in emissions.
The UN's latest report on global hunger shows we're moving backwards.
Well, the Lancet Medical Journal found that reducing red meat intake is one of the most effective ways to curb emissions.
We need to produce as much food as was produced in the last 10,000 years of human history.
What happens if we keep eating animal products on this scale is climate change continues to be exacerbated, which is tantamount to slow suicide.
Everything on the news, everything online, everything told us cows are negatively impacting our lives.
The truth of the matter is, cows are not to blame.
So here's the thing. We're filmmakers, and we work in agriculture for an animal health and nutrition company.
We travel the globe telling stories about sustainable farming. Together, we've been to 22 countries on 5 different continents. Literally around the world, farmers just open their doors to us.
And what we've experienced on these farms is completely different than what we're hearing.
We really started to question ourselves. What are we missing?
Maybe we're wrong. We wanted to put the pieces together to try to make sense of it.
We set out to explore one question. Are we better off in a world without cows?
Part of the reason why the world without cows is interesting because it forces people to have a different conversation.
You know, most people feel like there's a right and a wrong answer, but there's really not a right or wrong. It's just about choices and consequences.
When you really think about the impact it has, you can't throw it away. You can make it better.
At the end of the day, I don't think any of this can exist in a vacuum. This can't just be about culture and economy or feeding the growing population or about climate change.
It can't be about just one thing because all those things are tied together. Let's start a new narrative, one that sparks conversations and has the power to shape where we're headed. It's on each of us and all of us together to rise to the occasion. The solutions we seek are not distant and unattainable. They exist within our very reach.
As scientists, we can give you the first half of the information, but the next is a social and political discussion, and that's where the conversation hasn't really started yet.
We can become part of a climate solution. We have to be very smart, not just how to do it, but also how to talk about it, regardless of how you view agriculture. I think we should all agree upon one thing. We want to minimize the environmental footprint and help our farmers to get there. Because without farmers, we cannot live.
What I do does impact many, many others. It's not my land. This belongs to everybody. This is only ours for a little while.
Just incredible. Everyone here at CattleCon actually got a chance to see it this week as well. If you want to learn more about the film or even request a screening, you can go to worldwithoutcows.com. And on a YouTube Extra, we actually sat down with the 2 filmmakers to hear about the most eye-opening part of their travels and interviews for that film. You can view that on Farm Journal's YouTube page. Well, that does it for U.S. Farm Report this weekend here in CattleCon in San Antonio. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to join us again next weekend as we head back to the studios to build on our tradition. Have a great weekend, everyone.
U.S. Farm Report is produced and distributed by Farm Journal Broadcast.